how to make my no-bake mint Aero cheesecake. Mint Aero dessert goodness. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, where today we are making one of my personal favourite cheesecake recipes, which is, of course, as you can tell from the title, my no-bake mint Aero cheesecake. It is minty, chocolatey heaven in a bowl. Well, not even really in a bowl, just in my mouth because I eat it all. Honestly, it's delicious. But either way, it's one of my favourite, most popular recipes. I absolutely adore it, and where it's no-bake, it's the perfect one to make when you don't want the oven heat on and you want something delicious and tasty. But of course, if you don't like mint chocolate, absolute heathen if you say that, but either way, if you don't, you can also make a chocolate orange version, just a basic chocolate version, anything you like that. The full recipe will be in the description box below either way. So make sure to check it out if you are intrigued, but either way, let's make my mint Aero cheesecake. So whenever I make a cheesecake base, I tend to always use a digestive biscuit because I find them the best, and these are the full fat sugar classic digestive, not the light one. So I always use those, and because we're making a chocolate base, I actually add cocoa powder and then my melted butter. If you wanted to skip this step and use a chocolate biscuit, you absolutely can, like the chocolate coated digestive instead maybe, but make sure to lower your butter by at least a third because the wetness of the chocolate mixed with the butter will melt and make it quite gloopy if you don't lower the butter content. So either way, I'm gonna blitz my biscuits to a really fine crumb in my food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you can use a bowl with the end of a rolling pin. Just make sure it's a really, really fine crumb. Mix in your cocoa powder and then add your melted butter. So I'm just going to add my biscuits to my food processor. And then blitz these to a really, really fine crumb. Once they're a really fine crumb, and then just pour in my cocoa powder into the mixer as well. And I'll just tap that in. And then I just mix this ever so slightly before adding my butter. Finally, I'll pour in my melted butter into the food processor as well. And then blitz briefly to make sure they're combined. So now I've made my biscuit base, I've grabbed my tin. This is an 8-inch springform loose bottom tin, which I always use when I make my cheesecakes. So I will link this in the description box below. I find it easier to use a springform tin. And personally, I don't line the tin, probably because I've made hundreds of cheesecakes at this point, so I know the hack of getting them out. But if you want to line the tin on the base, you can, or you can sometimes overline the tin. So you have a bit of paper and then clamp it around it, and it'll make it easier to get the base out, whichever method you prefer. But either way, I'm gonna add my biscuit base to the bottom, press it down really, really firmly, and then we can make the filling. So I'm just gonna pour all of the biscuit in and press down firmly. Then I'll just use the back of a spoon to help me press it down. So now I've made my biscuit base and it's just in the tin. You can chill this for now or just leave it on the side on a cooler day, absolutely fine. But I'm gonna make the cheesecake filling. And this is a classic no-bake cheesecake filling where you use full fat cream cheese, double cream, a little bit of sugar, and then I'm adding some mint extract, green food coloring, and of course, mint Aero. I tend to use the mint Aero bubbles because I find them easier to mix in compared to the bar, but of course you can chop up the bar if you wish. And then this is the bit where if you want to change up the flavouring, you can. You can use the orange Aero, chocolate Aero, whatever flavour Aero you want, or any other similar bar and flavour it that way. But either way, this is my mint Aero cheesecake, so let's get making the filling. I'm just going to start by adding my full fat cream cheese to the bowl, and then I'm going to add in my icing sugar. Then I'm going to add a little bit of my mint extract, and then I'm just going to mix these together. Because this is mint Aero themed, I'm going to use some strong green food colouring, which I'll link below, but it's just a little tiny touch to make it look a little bit minty, but of course this is optional. And then I'm just going to pour in my double cream as well. I then mix this until it's thick, but obviously keep an eye on it. I tend to mix in little bursts and check as I go because you want it to be super thick. Sometimes it can take 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. There is no real timing to this because it does depend on your mixer, but either way, keep going until it's nice and thick. Fold through every now and again just to double check, and then you're ready. There you have a wonderfully thick cheesecake mix. And now I'm just going to add some of my mint Aero to the cheesecake mix and then mix in. You can see just how thick the mixture is in this bowl, and that's exactly what you're looking for. Now I've done the base and the filling, this is when we add the filling onto the base, but it's really important to make sure you pack it into the sides of the tin to prevent any air bubbles, and then we'll smooth it over and then we can set it in the fridge. Setting in the fridge is a minimum 5 to 6+ hours, but it tends to be better overnight. The longer you set it, the better. And of course, once it's set, we can then remove it from the tin and decorate. But either way, let's do this bit first. I tend to just use the side of a spatula to press it into the sides of the tin like so, and then I fill in the middle. Now everything is in the tin, I'm just going to set it, and then of course once it's set, we can decorate. So now that my cheesecake has set, I'm going to decorate. So I have some melted dark chocolate here. Of course, you don't have to do this, or you can use milk chocolate if you prefer. I have some mint Aero bubbles, and I have some double cream I've lightly whipped with some icing sugar, and I'm just going to do a classic Jane cheesecake decoration. It just makes it a bit more of a showstopper. But either way, we're going to get it out of the tin, smooth it over if it needs on the sides, and then decorate, and it'll be great. That is how you make my no-bake mint Aero cheesecake. As you can see, it's an absolute beauty of a cheesecake. It's so simple to make, and it's definitely one of my personal favorites. Make sure to check out the recipe and the ingredients below, and of course I will link the full blog post in the description box. I'll link anything I use, such as the piping tip, the tin, all of that bit, just in case you need it. Any comments, leave them below as well so I can help out where I can. Either way, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe, and come back next time for something tasty as always. Enjoy!